Welcome back to another video. Sports perspective fans, viewers, and subscribers. And as you can tell from the title of this video, we're going to be, reviewing, Jamaica Premier League, the regular season, and also talking about, Dujuan Whisper Richards, the young Jamaican sensation, that he's recently signed to Chelsea and he's having a brilliant season with them so far. So we're going to be, talking about his performances for Chelsea and of course the JPL. But so actually let's start with the JPL, right? So the JPL, the regular season finished, over the weekend, and so with the regular season being finished, that means all the playoff positions have been decided, and all the teams that will have a bye in the first round. All of that has been decided. Everything that needed the regular season to be decided has been decided. So JPL, so finishing in first place, as of course is Mount Pleasant. They which that was already a given. Before even going into the final match week, Mount Pleasant, had already secured, the top spot in the JPL. So definitely a big congratulations to Mount Pleasant, for securing the top spot in the JPL, for our second consecutive season, where they're finishing, atop the league table at the end of the regular season. So Mount Pleasant is definitely has something good going on for them, and hopefully, for Mount Pleasant fans' sake, hopefully they can, turn this, them finishing on top of the league table also means that, they will win the championship. But of course, the championship is not won on paper, so they have to go out there, play the matches, and win the matches on the field. Yeah, so but we'll see how that goes. All the other teams, all the other playoff teams, they also have a chance of winning the championship as well. So it doesn't matter what you did in the regular season. Now is the playoffs, and every team have a chance. Every team that's in the playoff, they have a chance of winning the championship. So one players are definitely doing good things, but I'm sure they will not be satisfied with just winning the regular season title. They want to win the championship again this year, as they did last year. So it will definitely be a good playoffs, and as far as even the teams that qualified, for the playoffs, they're all quality teams, all six teams that qualified, they are quality teams. So so reviewing the league table at the end of the regular season. So we see where Mount Pleasant is in first, of course. So Mount Pleasant, they finished on 59 points, from their matches. In second, we have Cavalier. So big shout out to Cavalier as well, and Rudolph Speed. Rudolph Speed, controversial figure at times, but you cannot deny the fact that he's doing something good with the Cavalier program. No matter what criticism you have for him, from a JFF perspective, and we as Jamaican fans, we always have a lot of criticism, for the JFF and what they're doing. And Speed is one of the shot callers for the JFF. Some will argue that he is the one pulling the strings for the JFF, and Michael Ricketts and everybody else just goes on what he orders. But whatever you think of Real Speed, you have to give him credit for the amount of work that he's done with Cavalier. And so to finish second in the JPL table alone is not an easy feat, right? But what you also have to give Speed credit for is consistency. The consistency with which Cavalier is finishing, in the winning the league, because they won the league 1 year, and they're consistently in making it to the playoffs or to the final. So either finishing second or third, year after year, and doing it with a very young team. Even Speed himself brags, all the time that Cavalier is one of the youngest professional teams in the world, It's mostly youngsters that play for his team, right? So to be able to get such consistent results, year after year with a young core of players is very impressive. So definitely have to give Rudolph Speed his flowers, for the job that he's doing with Cavalier FC. In third, we see where Tivoli Gardens. So Tivoli Gardens finished in third place on 51 points, followed by Portmore United in fourth. Portmore finished on 49 points. Also on 49 points in fifth is Arnett Gardens. So they are also on 49 points, but Portmore had a superior goal difference, right? And then in sixth, the sixth and final, playoff position, was Waterhouse. So Waterhouse secured the sixth and final playoff position. As and I'm not sure if you watch my previous JPL review and prediction. I predicted that Waterhouse would have secured that sixth and final position. And it was for a few reasons, right? One, obviously they were leading, and they have been somewhat consistent for the season, but the main thing that made me decide that was the fixtures that they had coming up, but also their superior goal difference, to the teams that were in contention. So even and as we can even see it here, where so in seventh place was Montego Bay United, also on 43 points. So both Waterhouse and Mobay were tied on points, but due to Waterhouse's superior goal difference, they secured the final playoff position, and that's what I predicted. At the time when I did that JPL review, I think Waterhouse had a either a 7 or 8 goal goal difference lead, and that with that huge of a gap, it's hard for any team to make up that type of gap with only a few matches left in the season. And that's what I based my prediction that Waterhouse would secure the sixth and final playoff spot on, and so said so done. It was their superior goal difference, that made them finish in sixth and securing the playoff spot. So congratulations to Waterhouse. It was definitely a hard fought season. But congratulations to all the teams. All the teams that were able to make it to the playoffs. They I can honestly say they deserve to be in the playoffs. Hard fought season. Very competitive season. At least for the top 7 or 8 positions. Very competitive. The fight for player positions went down to the final week, and just that alone, the fact that the playoff positions weren't all the playoff positions weren't decided until the final set of matches were played, is testament to the competitiveness of the league, right? For those positions. So congratulations to all the teams. So again, Mount Pleasant, they finished in first, Cavalier in second, Tivoli Gardens in third, Portmore United fourth, Arnett Gardens fifth, and Waterhouse sixth. So those will be the teams that will be vying for the Jamaica Premier League championship this year in the playoffs. Right. So and the matchup. So if you're not familiar, so both Mount Pleasant and Cavalier, they will have a bye in the first round of the playoffs. So they won't have any matches until the second round of the playoffs. So the four teams, Tivoli Gardens, Portmore, Arnett, and Waterhouse, they will be, partaking in the first round of the playoffs. So and the matchups are as follows. So Tivoli Gardens, because they finished in third, they will play the sixth place team. So Tivoli will be going up against Waterhouse, and Portmore United and Arnett Gardens will do battle as well. And then the winner of those matches will play Mount Pleasant and Cavalier. Right. So if I had to do a prediction, for those matches, so between Tivoli and Waterhouse, I am going to predict that Tivoli will win that game. I'm not sure what the venue will be for the matches, right? But if it's regular circumstances, if it's not regular circumstances, but with Tivoli finishing third, Tivoli should have a home match in the playoffs. But again, I'm not sure if that's how the JPL will be structuring the matches, or if that's how they'll be doing the matches. So we have to wait and see. But I still do, regardless of where the match is played, I think Tivoli will win that match against Waterhouse. And it's for a few reasons. It's more the experience, of the coach. Coach Jerome Waite. I think his experience in the Premier League and in I think he's actually won a few championships himself, and his experience, in coaching definitely showed on Tivoli this year. Because if you remember, last year Tivoli was towards the bottom of the table, right? They didn't get relegated, but they didn't really gain too much points last year. So they were at the bottom of the table last year, and just 1 year later, and they are in third place. And when you look, they have you wouldn't say they have a very experienced team. They have even their top striker. He's not an experienced Premier League player per se. But you definitely notice the change in the performance of Tivoli, and it reflects in where they finish in the table, finishing third place. And you have to ask yourself what changed, and what changed was they got a new coach. And that coaching change, definitely, you see the impact that coach Jerome Wade has had on this team. So I think Tivoli will pull this one out against Waterhouse. But again, the match, my prediction doesn't matter. What matters is what they do on the day when they play. And Waterhouse, they have just as good a chance to defeat Tivoli as well. But I am going to pick Tivoli to win, that match against Waterhouse. And then in the match between fourth and fifth place, between Portmore United and Arnett Gardens. To be honest, viewers and subscribers, this one was a bit challenging for me to predict, or to make a prediction on who I think would win, or who I think will win. Portmore is a very good team. They have a very good coach as well, and they have a lot of talented players. A lot of talented players are on the Portmore team. Alex Marshall, Chevron Walsh, Rousseau, Rudolph Austin. Even though he's up in age now, he's definitely contributed a lot to Portmore team. Martin Davis. They have a lot of good players on the Portmore team. But so too does Arnett Gardens. Arnett, they have a lot of good players. Kaheem Dixon, the young reggae boy sensation. Because he did represent Jamaica and scored a goal for us in the friendly match against Trinidad, and performed well in the Nations League when the coach Hal Grimms called on him. So you have a Fabian Reed. There's so many players Arnett Gardens have as well. A lot of quality players. Right, so it will definitely be a very intriguing matchup, very competitive match, and I wouldn't be surprised if whichever team wins. But if I had to pick, I'm going to say Arnett Gardens will pull this one out, right? And again, it comes down to experience, right? Experience of the team, experience of the players. They have a lot of experienced players. So Arnett Gardens is a good blend of youth and experience. They have been contenders for the Premier League, championship, year after year as well. Year after year they have been contenders for the Premier League championship. They're always in the playoffs. Always there as well. So they have playoff experience, and they have a good coach in Xavier Gilbert as well. So I am going to pick Arnett Gardens to win that match over Portmore United. But again, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Portmore defeats them. And my prediction doesn't really matter. What matters is what they do on the field of play, on match day. And that will determine which team, goes to the next round. But So I have Tivoli winning Waterhouse, and I have Arnett Gardens winning Portmore United for the Premier League. And then once we get to the next round of matches, then I'll share my predictions. I'll share what I think about the matchups and then my predictions as to which team I think will move forward. Right. So then to the next topic we have to discuss is, of course, the one and only Dujan Whisper Richards. He's recently signed for Chelsea, and he had a bit of delay, right? Because he had to wait until he was 18 and work permit issues and so on and so forth. But now he's at Chelsea, and he is performing really well for their Premier League, um their under 21 team, which is essentially is called Premier League 2 or something like that. But it's Chelsea under 21, and he's put on some brilliant performances for them. And yesterday, they played against Aston Villa, and Whisper had a role in all three goals that were scored by Chelsea. So he scored two for himself and had an assist in the third goal. And even outside of the goals that he scored, just looking at the highlights of him, playing, you can tell that his confidence. I mean, and he's always been a confident player, but you can tell that he believes that he belongs at Chelsea and playing for Chelsea in the league, and you can see that he's just brimming with confidence on the field. In his dribbling, you know, everything that he does, everything about him, it just exudes confidence, and that's what you want to see from a young player, and it's very promising for him, his career at Chelsea, of course, and also for Jamaica's future, to see Whisper doing well, you know. So yeah, so he so far for Chelsea, he's played 7 matches and he scored 4 goals and had 1 assist. Right, so that's 5 goal contributions in 7 matches for Chelsea. That's a brilliant conversion rate. And as far as minutes go, right, so he's played a total of um 241 Premier League minutes, or under 21 minutes, which is the second division of the Premier League. So in total, he's played 241 minutes, right? And he has 5 goal involvements, right? So if you really think about it, that's a goal, some sort of goal involvement every 48 minutes, right? That's brilliant. That's brilliant conversion rate. And just to think about it, he hasn't started all of those games, right? He hasn't started all of those matches for Chelsea, which is just for a testament to how brilliant his performances have been, And this is Chelsea's second team, right? So, and I'm sure the ultimate goal for him is to make it to Chelsea's first team. And what better way to do that than to perform, when you get the opportunity with the second team. And he's doing that. He's scoring goals, he's providing assists, he looks very dangerous on the ball, on the field whenever, he's on the ball. And so things are looking good for Whisper. Obviously he's still young, so he's not the finished product as yet, right? So still has a lot of learning to do, and I'm sure, as he's in and around the Chelsea environment, he will learn. He is learning, and he will continue to learn and improve, right? So for us as Jamaican fans, I don't want, or just fans in general, I don't want us to rush Whisper's development. Even though he is shown that he does belong when he's gotten his opportunity to play for the senior team. He has shown that he can hold his own. Again, super talented. But there were a couple of times in the when he played for the Jamaica senior team, where you could tell that his soccer IQ for in certain moments is not fully developed, and that's something that comes over time. So any young player, no matter how talented they are, the more they play, the better their soccer IQ will get. Because again, football or soccer, whatever you call it, is about movement, positioning, and timing. And so it's just the more you play, the more you will learn and learn, when to be in what positions and when to make your move and stuff like that. So he's learning that and developing that, while he plays for Chelsea. So it definitely looks good for Whisper, right? And what I can say is, even from a professional standpoint, um you see his body structure. So I think he's 6'4", right? 6'4", or somewhere in that region, right? He's over above 6 feet, right? So his body structure, it's very muscular, very fit. So that alone allows him to match up to, older players, to senior players, because normally as a young player, you would even say, and his body is not finished developing, so that's just going to get better for Whisper, right? Because normally with a young player, you would say, they have to, their body have to develop more. But where Whisper is right now, at his age, his body is already in good condition to make him compete against the top, the senior players who are usually stronger than youth players, But so things are looking good for Whisper, and I honestly just pray that he can continue to develop, and stay injury free, and I'm sure, because if there's anything with Whisper, throughout his career so far, whether it's been playing for Phoenix or, you know, whenever Phoenix goes on their tours, he or whenever when he was at I think it's Brookhouse College. I think that's what the college is called in England. So wherever he goes, he scores goals. That's he even scored for Jamaica's senior team. So that there's no doubt in my mind that trend will continue. Whisper is a special player. And just have to give him time to continue to develop and hone his craft. Improve his IQ and simple things. And he's definitely one for the future for Jamaica. Definitely one for the future for Jamaica. And who knows, maybe he will. Coach Algrimson will, even depending on how his season goes at Chelsea. Who knows? Maybe Coach Haldrimson will even include him in the Jamaican senior team squad. For matches. Coming up World Cup qualifiers or Copa America. Because if he continues to score like this and perform like this for Chelsea, I don't see any reason why Coach Haldrimson wouldn't, include him. When even before he completed the move for Chelsea, just from seeing him play, Coach Haldrimson invited him to the squad and, gave him his a few caps in the Gold Cup as well, before his development was even at this stage. So can only imagine, know that he's at Chelsea, a different environment, playing football consistency, because that was also a thing. Yes, Phoenix does they do a very good job of developing their players, and we have to give Craig Butler credit for that. But at the end of the day, Whisper wasn't playing a lot of competitive football, any competitive football as well, and the intensity in competitive football compared to I say pickup matches or friendly matches, it's different. Competitive football, it requires a certain level of intensity and fitness. And now that he's at Chelsea, he's getting that week in and week out, which again just bodes well for him, and Coach Haldrimson had enough confidence in him to invite him to the team, to the senior team, before he was even doing a lot of playing a lot of competitive matches. So now that he's playing competitive matches at that level and also scoring goals, I think Coach Haldrimson will have a very tough decision on his hands, come this summer, for when picking that squad, both for World Cup qualifiers and the Copa America as well. Will definitely be a tough challenge for Coach Haldrimson. But you know, he's the coach. It's his team. And I always say this about Coach Haldrimson. He knows what he wants from this team, and he knows how he wants the team to play. So I have all faith in that Coach Haldrimson will, make and whatever team he selects, I definitely will support his decision and back the team 100%. Because he's proven so far that even though a lot of fans sometimes don't like the way the team plays, quote unquote, how the team plays, he's getting results, and the performances speak for themselves, so you definitely have to give Coach Halgrimson credit for that, So whatever he decides to do with Whisper, even if it's not including him in the squad for this summer, for the future and building up to 2026, he'll definitely be involved. So yes, but we'll see how it goes, right? So again, Whisper having a brilliant season for Chelsea so far. He scored 4 goals and had an assist, and definitely looking forward to him having more goal contributions in the future. So that's all I have for you for this video, viewers and subscribers. But do remember to like the video, you know, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comment section. Sports Perspective TV, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.